There will now be an opportunity for silent prayer or meditation. Please be seated. Honorable members, in the interest of safety for all present in the chamber, please keep your mask on and sit in your designated areas. The only item on today's order paper is questions addressed to the Deputy President. There are 4 supplementary questions on each question. Parties have given an indication of which questions their members wish to pose a supplementary question. Adequate notice was given to parties for this purpose. This was done to facilitate participation of members who are connecting to the sitting through the virtual platform. The members who will pose supplementary questions will be recognized by the presiding officer. In allocating opportunities for supplementary questions, the principle of fairness, amongst others, has been applied. If a member who is supposed to ask a supplementary question through the virtual platform is unable to do so due to technological difficulties, the party whip on duty will be allowed to ask the question on behalf of their member. When all supplementary questions have been answered by the Deputy President, we will proceed to the next question on the order paper. The first question has been asked by the Honorable N.W.A. Mazzoni, the Honorable the Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The trip that I've undertaken to the Russian Federation during my leave of absence was solely for the purpose of a scheduled medical consultation. As such, the consultation with my long-standing medical team was held as per the objective of the visit. And I've been in hospital for the duration of my stay there. Thank you.
The first supplementary questions will be asked by the Honorable Mazzoni from the Chamber.
Thank you very much, Deputy President. And thank you for that frank answer. And may I say that I find you in good spirits and in good health, and that makes me glad.
Thank you.
Because I really do wish you good health and continued good health. But Deputy President, while you were gone, there was a lot of rumor mongering going around. And as you know, perception in politics is everything. And we were being told that you had been specifically poisoned by members within your own ranks who had tried. Please give me a chance. I'm having a conversation with the Deputy President and he will answer me. Deputy President, and I feel like it's time for you to be frank about this so we can do away with these kind of rumors. You have a medical team in Russia, which for many people seems slightly James Bondish, if you will. Because I have a medical team too that looks after me, and they're at the little company of Mary in Pretoria. And we all know what the Russians are famous for. So, Deputy President, why are South African doctors not good enough when we know that we have some of the finest doctors in the world that look after us here? Our medical profession here is one of the top in the world. Are the rumors that you were poisoned true?
Honorable Mazzoni,
Yes.
I've allowed you to make this statement. Actually, this matter has absolutely nothing to do with the question you raised. Your question was whether the Deputy President met anyone in Russia other than his medical treatment. Now, you are going on and on about poisoning, which has nothing to do with that, and I really want to say to you,
Okay,
you are out of order.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's just that the President mentioned he was hospitalized, and that's why I brought it up, because they must always correlate. But, Deputy President, you said that you were in hospital the whole time that you were in the Russian Federation. Could you tell us if you met with any doctors that deal specifically with poisoning? And could you also tell us if you met with any people that deal with a nuclear deal that is said to be underway or attempted to be underway with the South African government? Thank you very much.
You know, actually, you are out of order, Honorable, and you know it. You know it, and all of you know it. No. The issue is, the question is, the Deputy President was in Russia. It says, where is the question? Actually, you are asking whether he met anyone whilst he was in Russia. And yes, he has responded by saying he was in Russia. He was obviously had gone for medical checkup. Now you are asking whether he met any doctors. If you are in hospital, you are attended to by doctors, of course. Then you are introducing a different matter now of a nuclear and what. I think you are really out of order. And please allow me to protect the Deputy President.
Madam Speaker, you are absolutely in your right to protect the Deputy President, although I think that he should answer the question, but I would like your ruling referred to the Rules Committee. Thank you.
Okay, let it be referred to the Rules Committee, and you are part of the Rules Committee, and you will discuss the matter and come back and advise me on the matter.
Madam Speaker,
I honestly believe that honorable members, I honestly believe it is not correct to discuss health issues related to members. I think the Rules Committee must discuss that matter. Short of, really, what we are going to be doing, the next thing is to want to know if so-and-so is sick, what is there, and yet we all know there is something called doctor-patient confidentiality. I think it is insensitive. I think it is improper. I think Rules Committee, you must discuss the matter and you must advise me. But from where I am sitting, it is totally unacceptable, colleagues, that we actually dig on a matter related to somebody who's not well.
Madam Speaker,
Honorable Speaker, my hand is up, Honorable Speaker. It's Minister Zulu. My hand has been up forever.
I'm sorry, Minister Zulu. I did not realize that your hand is up. Table, will you help me? I haven't seen it.
Madam Speaker, they work that out. Yes. I do just want to assure the Deputy President, I really do mean it when I say that I am very glad to see that you are in good health, and I really did mean it when I say that your good health continues.
Thank you, Honorable Mazzoni. Honorable Zulu, you had your hand up. Honorable Zulu.
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
Yes?
Yes, Honorable Speaker, respectfully to the Speaker, respectfully to the House. We have a problem, Honorable Speaker, where whenever we raise our hands are not recognized. This is day 3 that I've been trying to raise this issue, and I'm requesting that the staff who are there, can they please see our hands and recognize us, because when we have patronizing people on the platform, we would like to protect also ourselves, because this is patronizing.
Thank you very much, Honorable The table officers, please, will you assist here? It happened day before yesterday. It's happening again today. Thank you very much. Now, that was the first supplementary question. The second supplementary question will be asked by the Honorable T.S. Mpanza through the virtual platform.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for ensuring that there is order in this chamber. Mr. Deputy President, having undergone your medical consultation and upon your return to the country, can the Deputy President assure South Africans that he continued to discharge his responsibilities as the Deputy President of the Republic? Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable, the Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I am in front of the House, strong enough to discharge my duties. I'm sure the House have seen me in different occasions out there performing my duties as Deputy President. What I can say is that as a person concerned, I'm grateful with the progress that I've made up to so far with regards to my health. Thank you very much.
I thank you, Deputy President. The third supplementary question will be asked by the Honorable N.V. Mende through the virtual platform. Honorable Mende.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Can you hear me, Speaker?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Deputy President, as the EFF, we have no reason to doubt you when you say you went to Russia seeking medical help. And our question, therefore, has nothing to do with your health issues, and we wish you well. Today, Deputy President, South Africa is under siege from the new variant of the coronavirus. And Pfizer, the vaccine that is being used by the majority of South Africans, is reported that it's not effective in its 2 shots. You need a 3rd shot to this particular variant. However, Sputnik, on the other hand, is reported to be very much effective against this new variant and the Delta variant.
Honorable Mente, I'm sorry. Honorable Mente, the issue you are raising has nothing to do with the question before the House. So, if you want to raise that matter, you must submit a new question for the discussion. Yes. So, that, in the context of this discussion, it is out of order.
No, Speaker, please allow the Deputy President to be the one saying that. You can't answer the question for him.
I will not allow.
This is in connection with the.
I will not allow.
No, Speaker, you
respond to a question which has nothing to do with the initial question on the order paper.
It's in connection with medical. It's in connection with medical help. We all want to get medical help from Russia, Speaker. So the Deputy Minister, the Deputy President can help us.
Mente, Rule 142(6) states that a supplementary question must arise directly from the original question, and the reply given thereto may not constitute a new question. What you are raising is, in fact, a new question. Thank you,
No.
Honorable.
It's not. I was asking a question pertaining to the Russian medication as he has received such as well.
Honorable Mente,
It's
Honorable
he had
Mente,
Pfizer. What I'm
Will
going
you-
to ask about Pfizer, Speaker.
please submit a new question. Thank you, Honorable Mente. Please, respectfully, thank you.
We'll take this thing up.
The last supplementary question will be asked by the Honorable N. Singh from the chamber.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I thought it was Honorable Slangwa that was going to do it. I don't know if she's on the virtual platform.
Well, what I have here, Honorable Singh. Thank you.
All right, I haven't gone to Home Affairs yet, ma'am, to change my...
If it is Honorable Slengwa, he's right behind you.
No, not this one, ma'am.
Okay,
The other Slangwa.
okay, thank you. Honorable
But-
Slengwa on the virtual platform. Honorable Slengwa.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Yes, thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Mhm.
Honorable Deputy President, relating to your medical treatment in the Russian Federation, why should the South African taxpayer carry the cost for you to receive such medical treatment? I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
President.
I've covered the costs of my treatment, the traveling, 100%. No money was paid by the South African government towards my treatment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy President. Question 14 has been asked by the Honorable N.F. Shivambu. The Honorable, the Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The underlying message in the Minister of Finance medium-term budget policy statement is that it is fiscally unsustainable to continue bailing out state-owned enterprises in the context of diminishing fiscal resources and competing developmental priorities. Instead, any form of support provided must focus on transforming these SOEs and ensuring that they are put on a path of financial and operational sustainability in a manner that does not require constant bailouts from the fiscal resources. Our efforts as the ESCOM political task team are focusing on supporting ESCOM in the implementation of the ESCOM turnaround plan aimed at repositioning ESCOM, improving operational efficiencies, plant maintenance, and ensuring that debt and liquidity challenges are addressed. While government continue to provide the necessary support required, the ESCOM leadership, including the board, has the primary responsibility to drive organizational change, effect governance improvement, and ensure that the organization is placed on a sound financial footing. The fiscal framework has made provision for targeted support to ESCOM to minimize negative impacts and ensure that ESCOM is sustained as a going concern. In terms of the recent announcement by the Minister of Finance, there will be no negative implication for ESCOM, as this will not negatively impact what has already been provided in the current fiscal framework in terms of the 230 billion rands support package that was announced in October 2019 medium-term budget policy statement. To date, Honorable Speaker, 136.7 billion rands of this support has been dispersed to Eskom, with the remaining disbursement to be provided over the next 4 fiscal years. The Minister of Finance has approved a special dispensation to allow Eskom to access additional guaranteed debt of 42 billion rands in 2021 and 2022, as well as 25 billion rands in 2022-2023, which falls within the existing guarantees facility of Eskom. This will provide Eskom with the necessary borrowing power in order to honor its obligations as when they become due. In addition, Eskom has been allocated 21.9 billion rands in 2022-23, 21 billion rands earmarked for 2023-24 to assist with the redemption of debt and interest. Eskom continues to implement various levers to improve its internal efficiencies and ensure that it reduces its cost structure while enhancing capabilities to deliver on plant maintenance and new build programs to keep the lights on. While challenges remain, there is a discernible progress in some of the key areas of organizational transformation, including financial savings and the recruitment of management and technical skills that are required by this organization. We are advised that Eskom achieved a saving of 14 billion in the 2020-2021 financial year, and the target of 21 billion rand has been set for the 2021-2022 financial year. Various initiatives are being pursued to ensure that the target is achieved. Government is working with key stakeholders to adopt a unified approach to Eskom's financial sustainability. This approach includes cost savings within Eskom, the recovery of area municipal debt, achievement of a cost-effective tariff, and further reduction of Eskom debt. This work will be further guided by the Presidential State-Owned Enterprises Council as it identifies specific interventions aimed at stabilizing and strengthening the state-owned enterprises, financially and operational performance, reduce reliance on the fiscus, and ensure that some of the plans are repurposed to align with national priorities. In respect of municipal debt, Eskom is implementing an active partnering model to assist municipalities with maintenance of their own infrastructure and revenue collections to enable the payment of the bulk electricity account. Alongside all these support interventions, various models and options are currently under consideration to resolve the current debt challenge facing Eskom. Once finalized, government will make the necessary announcement accordingly. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The first supplementary question will be asked by the Honorable N.F. Shivambu through the virtual platform.
Speaker, it's Mende. I will take the question.
Thank you. Please, you may proceed.
Thank you very much. Deputy President, the narration you have just given, it's not the first time we're hearing that story. In 2019, the former Minister of Finance invited Harvard professors to draft economic reform for the National Treasury. That paper recommended consolidation and entrenchment of neoliberal driven policies centered on austerity and privatization of South Africa's strategic public assets in energy, rail, water, and sanitation. And it's again not the first time. The same happened in 2006 when so-called economists from American universities played a major role to shape Treasury and South African economic policy. There is overwhelming evidence that these policies have failed. Don't you think the decision to stop assisting state-owned enterprises, many of which failed because of clear political leadership, lack of management, like the CEO of ESCOM, lack of management skills, is designed to collapse and sell SOEs for less than their value and collapse the state ability to play a strategic role in the economy? Do you think it is fair, it is just to the citizens, given the highest levels of unemployment in South Africa, in particular that of young Black people? Thank you.
The Honorable, the President.
Thank you,
Deputy
Honorable
President,
Speaker.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm still Deputy President,
Yes.
and I'll remain Deputy President.
I'm really sorry, Deputy
Honorable
President.
Speaker. Well, like I've said, Honorable Speaker, the commitment that we have made to support ESCOM that we have made in 2019 still stands. That was announced by the former Minister of Finance. And this assistance is still valid for the next coming 4 years. But it is correct for the Minister of Finance to say this bailouts from time to time, it's not sustainable. Somewhere the leadership of this utility must work hard so that this utility is self-reliant and it's in a position to make profit. I am convinced that the current leadership of ESCOM and the board, of course, working under pressure and duress, they are trying their level best. And I'm supportive of them, and I can tell with due respect to all those that are criticizing the leadership of ESCOM, that this is the best leadership we can have that can currently transform and turn around ESCOM. I am happy with the way they are transforming the organization. I'm happy with the cost-saving measures that are underway in ESCOM. And I'm happy with the amount of savings that they've made. And they will continue to make. But it will take a bit of hard work and a bit of support from all of us. We must understand that this criticism stems from the load shedding. And honorable members and fellow South Africans should understand that the current leadership of ESCOM found a utility, found these plants not in a good state in terms of maintenance. What is currently happening is that as this leadership plan how to maintain these plants, there is unplanned outages that disrupts the entire plan. And I'm happy that they are managing. I'm happy that they are managing the process, and they are bold to announce when there are unplanned outages, and they don't hide the truth to all of us. This is what is good about this leadership. And I think we should support the ESCOM board and the ESCOM administrative leadership. There is no intention on the side of government to sell ESCOM. ESCOM must be supported like we've done so. It's very important in the life of the economy of the country. And I don't see any in our vocabulary of starting to think about selling ESCOM. The president has appointed a state-owned council. This council is tasked with the assignment of looking at best options and the restructuring of all these SOEs, companies. Now, there is duplication. A number of these companies, they repeat one or two things, which we said to the state-owned council, let them look at this duplication and advise cabinet. We think after the assessment, they'll look at those that still needs to be maintained and those that needs to be discarded. But the aim finally is to make these state-owned companies not to rely on the fiscus. They must be able to deliver services and be able to make money because they are in business, all of them. It's unheard of that from year in, year out, these state-owned enterprises will expect to be bailed out by government. So the statement by the minister is correct. Thank you very much.
The second supplementary question will be asked by the Honorable P.N. Abraham from the chamber.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Deputy President, the response that you gave on a matter that touches the lives of ordinary South Africans is appreciated. It demonstrates that your hand is on the pulse of the challenge. Deputy President, the principle which underpin the transformation of the situation at ESCOM would appear from your reply to be grounded on financial and operational sustainability, linked to a turnaround strategy that efficiencies and debt maintenance are key in this regard. Given that there are existing dangers to efficiencies and debt maintenance, what specific mechanisms in the turnaround strategy will assist in mitigating against these dangers? I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable, the Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. There are two things that we can highlight which are very important in the turnaround strategy. That ESCOM has started to recruit the necessary skills that is needed at a power station level. And I'm sure with time we'll see an improvement in the running of these power plants. Secondly, ESCOM has taken upon itself to cut costs within the organization. There are certain positions that through natural attritions became vacant, and ESCOM did not fill those positions because it was quite clear from the beginning that the staff establishment of ESCOM is just too big. And through negotiations with the unions, now natural attritions, as posts become vacant, some of the posts, if not very important, they are abolished. But there are a number of areas where there was wastage, and ESCOM has made it a point that those areas are attended to. On the side of the political task team, we have brought together government departments that are owing ESCOM. And we must say, thanks to Minister Delil, the Department of Public Works, coordinating all departments, managed to pay what is due to ESCOM. And in the intervening period, money that came from government departments that was due to ESCOM, and money that came from municipalities that was due to ESCOM goes up to over 4 billion rand, which is progress, but not enough, looking at the total amount that is owed to ESCOM. So we can say slowly but surely ESCOM is turning around. What now needs to happen is that they must step up their maintenance plan so that whatever maintenance is done, it's according to plan. They reduce unplanned disruptions of the plans. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy President. The third supplementary question will be asked by the Honorable MGE Hendricks from the virtual platform. Honorable MGE from the virtual platform. Okay, we then proceed and entertain the last supplementary question. It will be asked by the Honorable W. Vessels from the Chamber.
You've disconnected the audio.
Honorable Vessels.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Deputy President, on the one hand, we know that ESCOM has spent over R1 billion on diesel during November. And we know that this practice will diminish all the savings which you referred to previously, Honourable Deputy President. On the other hand, ESCOM has applied for an electricity tariff increase of 20.5% to take effect from 1 April if approved. Do you, Deputy President, regard such high increases in electricity tariffs as sustainable to keep the utility afloat, or would you agree that this will be detrimental to economic growth and development and will lead to job losses and poverty as the end user and consumer will feel an increase of much more than 20.5%? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable, the Deputy President.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and thanks to the question. The Honourable Member would appreciate the fact that it's becoming more and more expensive to run these old plants. The maintenance of these plants, very costly to ESCOM. And of course, when there are unplanned outages, ESCOM will have to activate some of the power stations that are powered by diesel and in certain instances pump water for our hydro power stations. Of course, that is a cost to ESCOM. An intervention that the President made was to announce that private companies have now the permission to generate up to 100 megawatts of energy. So that can relieve the pressure from ESCO. And we have now opened a window for independent power producers also to connect to our grid. We have now also allowed municipalities, where possible, if they've got the financial muscle, to generate energy so that there's competition. If there's competition, I'm sure prices of electricity will come down. But for now, it is only ESCOM which is carrying the pressure, pulling all these old power plants, which are very costly to maintain, and of course, it becomes very costly to the consumers to consume electricity. Now, I'm sure down the line, with the route that we're taking of allowing municipalities to generate, allowing independent power producers, and allowing companies to also produce up to 100 megawatts, that will lessen the burden on ESCOM. Thank you very much.
I thank you, Honorable Deputy President. Earlier on, I had invited Honorable MGE Hendricks, who is on the virtual platform, to raise his third supplementary question, and he was unable to do so. I am told he is on the virtual platform. He had a problem with his system. Now, Honorable MGE Hendricks, I now invite you to raise your question.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and thank you very much for the indulgence. We're very impressed with the responses of the Deputy President, but we're very concerned that the poor people will be marginalized if electricity provision is privatized. What assurance can the Deputy President give the nation that indigent people will not be penalized and that provision is just for the rich? Thank you, Speaker.
The Honorable the Deputy President.
Thank you very much. That is a matter that municipalities will have to discuss, because from now they are given the permission to generate energy. Now, they can generate energy from their own resources. They can generate energy through partnering with the private sector, or they can source energy direct from independent power producers. But all the three models that are available to municipalities should not be costly to the consumer at the end of the day. Whether it is a municipality that is generating, whether it's a private partnership, public partnership, or whether it's a direct outsourcing from an independent power producer, but it must not be a burden to the consumer. But this is going to offer options. ESCOM will always benefit from all the options that are available, because ESCOM, in the current form and the proposed form that it must unbundle, separate into three entities: generation, transmission, and distribution. Of course, everyone who's producing energy in the country will have to transport this energy. And whoever must come to ESCOM and say, I request to transport this energy to point A, and I'm prepared to pay so much. Because ESCOM does own the transmission lines that you see all over here. So that business is going to be lucrative going forward. As much as Eskom won't be making much money on generation, but Eskom will continue to make money on transmission. Eskom might want to give distribution to municipalities to distribute, and the infrastructure, most of the infrastructure in terms of distribution belongs to municipalities. So I don't see really a situation where the consumer will end up paying more for electricity going forward. Instead, by opening competition, the prices will come down. Thank you very much.
I thank you, Deputy President. Question number 15 has been asked by the Honorable D.R. Direko. The Honorable, the Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Government's integrated national electrification program makes provision for planning, financing, and implementation of electrification projects in prioritized municipal spaces to ensure that communities have access to electricity. This is a program that supports municipalities with electrification infrastructure and capital subsidies to address electrification backlogs in permanently occupied residential dwellings. Government will continue to coordinate and provide targeted support to municipalities to ensure that there is a reliable electricity transmission and distribution infrastructure. With that said, Honorable Speaker, it is important to note that as part of reforms in the energy generation sector, government has empowered municipalities to generate their own electricity to improve the country's overall generation capacity. To this end, the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy has developed new regulations that are aligned with the Electricity Regulation Act for municipalities to procure or develop their own power generation. In October 2020, amendments to the new regulation in terms of Section 35, subsection 4 of the Electricity Regulation Act were gazetted. Through this amendment, municipalities can now procure their own energy in 3 different options through their own money, through public-private partnership, and through procuring from independent power producers. Should municipalities want to procure energy, they must first conduct a thorough feasibility study to determine the best option to pursue. When it comes to long-term sustainability, municipalities must demonstrate diversity in their customer base and that electricity revenue collection meets the electricity operations and energy buying costs. This is critical to ensure that consumers are not burdened with high electricity tariffs as compensation for non-paying users. A further amendment has also been introduced for allowing for facilities up to 100 megawatts to generate up to 100 megawatts without the need for a generation license. This was intended to urgently address the current problems of power shortages. These amendments, Honorable Speaker, are aligned to the Integrated Resource Plan of 2019, which envisages the procurement of more than 31,300 megawatts of new generation and storage capacity between 2020 and 2030. While Eskom, as a national power utility with the required base load, will continue to play an important role in energy generation, a diversified, open, and a competitive energy generation environment will go a long way towards addressing electricity supply constraints that impact negatively on our economy and the quality of life of our citizens. It is expected that with additional energy into the grid, the negative impact of load shedding will be avoided and thereby easing the burden on the people and the economy. The Municipal Infrastructure Support Agent continues to provide the necessary support to municipalities in addressing infrastructure challenges. This includes maintenance and refurbishment of existing infrastructure and development of technical capacity through skills development. Where necessary, municipalities will be able to leverage funding streams to invest in generation and distribution infrastructure, including partnership with the private sector and government infrastructure fund. We remain optimistic, Honorable Speaker, that the newly elected local government leadership, with their representative organization, SALGA, will assist municipalities to generate or procure their own energy, thus promote sustainable local economic development, job creation, and effective delivery of services at local level. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy President. The first supplementary question will be asked by the Honorable D.R. Direko from the Chamber.
Thank you, Speaker. Honorable Deputy President, there are municipalities that have historical debt with ESCOM, and it's because of lack of internal controls within the municipality, it's because of lack of revenue collection, and it's also a failure of the municipality to manage their funds. So I would like to check with you, are there any relevant processes in place to build internal capacity within the municipality in order for them to generate their own electricity? Thank you.
The Honorable, the Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Currently, as we speak, we've got more than 20 municipalities that accounts for 38 billion debt to ESCOM. This includes the known Maluti-Apofong municipality. Now, we've been frequenting to Maluti-Apofong together with ESCOM, and finally there were court judgments that were passed. Now, these court judgments were saying ESCOM must take over the distribution of electricity in Maluti-Apofong. Now, we had to assist Maluti-Apofong together with ESCOM to sign a service level agreement that will allow ESCOM to distribute electricity and to collect revenue and take what is due to ESCOM and give the municipality what is due to it. So we think this is the best option going forward, that of partnering with these municipalities that are owing ESCOM. Until these municipalities develop the required capacity, which ESCOM in this instance can assist municipalities to train their personnel that can look after this infrastructure, upgrade this infrastructure. I think at that point, municipalities, if they've got a very positive balance in their balance sheet, they can then think of generating electricity on their own. But they have to be taken along, and the only utility that is available that can help this municipality is ESCOM, because these municipalities are owing ESCOM. On our side, we're ensuring that all government departments pay municipalities. If electricity is distributed by a municipality in a school, the Department of Education must pay. If electricity is distributed by a municipality in a government building, whether provincial or national, that department must pay to the municipality. We think we are going to improve the financial situation of municipalities and prepare them to take on generation capacity on their own. Thank you very much.
The second supplementary question will be asked by the Honorable KJ Milham from the Chamber.
Deputy President, it's no secret that municipalities, and more specifically metropolitan municipalities, are challenged by Eskom's distribution network within their own municipal jurisdictions. Amongst other issues, this affects the cost of electricity because people on one side of the street where there's municipal supply may pay more than people on the other side of the street where there's Eskom supply. Another issue is that electricity provision is the only form of credit control that a municipality really has. Schedule 4B of the Constitution notes that electricity reticulation is a municipal competency. Would you agree that municipal control of the electricity distribution is necessary to ensure uniform pricing and better maintenance of the electricity infrastructure? And if so, what is being done to facilitate the transfer of such distribution to those municipalities that have the financial and technical capabilities and resources? Thank you.
The Honorable, the Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Member and Honorable Speaker. I don't think there's a problem. The only problem that is there currently is that these municipalities are owing. They are owing Eskom because they buy this electricity to Eskom and then they sell it. And in this case, they sell the electricity and people connect illegally and steal the electricity. They are stealing it from the municipality, and the municipality then can't pay Eskom. So you can argue and say, Eskom, give these municipalities the chance to distribute, because in terms of the Constitution, it is the municipalities that must sell, distribute directly to the consumers. But these municipalities have failed. Hence, the partnering model that we're trying to forge between municipalities and Eskom so that municipalities can pay. Then after settling their debt, probably this will revert back to them. Because it's an arrangement that has been done through a court order. It's not something that is going to be permanent. It should go up to a certain level. After having paid what is due to Eskom, probably the partnering model will cease and the distribution capacity will revert back to municipalities. But yes, you're correct. It is the duty of municipalities to reticulate energy, sell it to the public. But the public is not paying for electricity. And the public connect illegally in the infrastructure of municipalities. You can see now a number of areas where communities are saying to municipalities, no, let's do away with the debt, the money that we owe. But what will happen to Eskom, to municipality when it comes to the money that must be paid to Eskom? So yes, we can vouch for that, but currently we have got almost 40 billion that is being owed, and that money must be paid. We're going to insist. Eskom wants that money. That's what we can say. Thank you.
The third supplementary question will be asked by the Honorable OMC Mautwe through the virtual platform.
I will take it, Speaker.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Speaker. Deputy President, all the electricity reforms that have been proposed from the proposal to allow municipalities to generate own electricity, to breaking up ESCOM into 3 entities, as well as the illogical support of independent power producers, seems to suggest that government has all but given up on ESCOM, ever recovering to the top energy generation entity it once was in the world. In short to medium term, Deputy President, do you foresee a reduced role for ESCOM in electricity generation in the country? If you do, why is the government not being honest and upfront to citizens that the ultimate aim is to strip ESCOM in order to dissolve electricity generation through private companies and municipalities? And goes to speak.
The Honorable the President, Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I must repeat that it's not the intention of government to dissolve ESCOM. But also, it's not the intention of government to see ESCOM monopolizing the generation of energy. Because if we allow ESCOM going forward to monopolize, any mishap, anything that goes wrong in ESCOM will affect the country there and there. But if you allow competition in the generation of energy, of course, ESCOM will always be ahead of everyone because ESCOM has the necessary infrastructure. I said before, ESCOM has the transmission lines. Now, whoever, they are still strong. In certain cases, they are still strong. They are still strong, and whoever wants to transport energy must pay ESCOM. So whoever is going to generate energy, ESCOM is still in business. So there's no way of really destroying ESCOM in this case, but we must reduce monopoly so that we put our economy on a safe path, that if there's any mistake in ESCOM generation capacity, the other generation facilities in municipalities, independent power producers can augment the shortage. Thank you very much.
The last supplementary question will be asked by the Honorable I.M. Groenewald from the Chamber.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Deputy President, it is not only citizens who steal from the municipalities and do not pay for electricity which contributes to low revenue and the outstanding debt to ESCOM. Provincial and national government departments is equally owing municipalities hundreds of millions of outstanding charges. As for example, is Matatseli municipality in the Eastern Cape that is owed 96 million rand by government departments but cannot move forward with an electrification project because the municipality owes ESCOM 16 million rand. Once the municipalities do generate their own electricity, the department's outstanding debt to municipalities will assist to implement successful and sustainable own electricity supply. When will the outstanding historical debt of departments be paid, or must the taxpayer keep on to foot the bill on local level? Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
The Honourable the Deputy President.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Through the political task team, we've assembled a number of departments around the Department of COCTA, Public Works included. We've gone through all what is being owed to ESCOM, to municipalities. Now, what we found out is that municipalities can't vouch for what it purports it's owed to them by a government department. Municipalities have got a problem with their metering systems. They're just sucking a figure to a point where we have even appointed an ombudsperson to try and negotiate, because there's no metering, but municipality will say you're owing us 100 million. But prove to us that we're owing you this 100 million. They can't prove, because there's no meter here. Now, we are mediating, but I can tell you, in my first reply I said, we must thank Minister Tilil, because a number of departments have paid. There are just few that are outstanding where municipalities can't explain, can't justify why they say a department is owing X amount. Thank you very much.
Question 16 has been asked by the Honorable MGE Hendricks. The Honorable, the Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Equitable land restitution continues to be a matter of concern for us as government. We have, in our previous responses to Parliament, indicated our commitment to accelerating the resolution of old order claims. However, there is still much work to be done, and this has been compounded by the devastating impact of COVID-19 pandemic in the past financial year. The District 6 development is one of the post-settlement restitution cases that has been affected by COVID-19 pandemic. A framework agreement was reached to develop dwellings for claimants who opted for restoration. This agreement was reached between the City of Cape Town, the District 6 Development Beneficiary Trust, and the Department of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development for the development of the land in a phased approach. The District 6 Reference Group was then established to oversee the phased development. As government, we acknowledge the fact that there's been delays in the District 6 development project, and there is a need to address such delays with renewed sense of urgency. In the main, these delays can be attributed to the appointed construction companies not adhering to their original contractual agreements. The process relating to the transfer of land, the revisions of the amendment of the site development and subdivision plans, and the repairs of the technical snags which impacted on the issuing of certificates of occupancy. A scheduled handover of dwellings for the 108 claimants was earmarked to proceed from the 24th of June to 26 July 2021, which could not happen at the time due to COVID-19 regulations and adjustment level 4 restrictions. As the handover process was to resume in August 2021, some claimants lodged their dissatisfaction with the typology and the quality of the completed 108 units. As a result, these 108 dwellings have not been allocated to the eligible beneficiaries, as the occupational certificates for the units remain outstanding. We have been advised that the City of Cape Town has already approved all building plans for row houses, and it has 1 year temporary occupancy certificate that has been issued for 31 units. The Department of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development will continue the discussion with the City of Cape Town on design items raised for the permanent occupancy certificate to be issued. It is anticipated that the City of Cape Town will issue the balance of temporary occupancy certificate before the end of this financial year, with full occupancy certificate expected by the 1st of May 2022. Since there are more than 1,000 claimants who opted for dwellings, further development phases are still to be implemented. The construction of the remaining units that where all the claimants will be accommodated, it's anticipated to be carried out and completed in December 2024. As the IMC Honorable Speaker on Land Reform and Agriculture, we are committed to ensuring that there are no further delays in the finalization of the District 6 project. We'll ensure that various departments that are affected, the spheres of government, play their respective roles and seamlessly coordinate their work to avoid any further unnecessary delays in this project. Within a short while, we'll convene all the key role players within government to agree on a fast-tracking plans with shortened delivery timelines. These key role players that I'm talking about include the Department of Agriculture, Rural Development and Land Reform, the Land Claims Commission, the Western Cape Department of Human Settlement, and the City of Cape Town. With dedicated focus and close project monitoring, we believe it is possible to deliver on this project with a shorter space of time. Honorable Speaker, in broad terms, government continues to be seized with the bigger responsibility to accelerate land reform to achieve restorative justice and social inclusion. While our land reform has encountered challenges and not performed to our satisfaction, there is no doubt that significant progress has been made in the restitution and redistribution of our land to its rightful owners in a way that restores dignity and justice to those who were dispossessed of their land. As at the 30th of September 2021, the restitution program has since its inception settled 82,295 land claims, resulting in the award of 3.8 million hectares of land to beneficiaries at a cost of 24 billion. The program has furthermore approved 18 billion of rands in the settlement of claims involving financial compensation. Since the inception of the Land Redistribution and Tenure Program, government has acquired over 5 million hectares of land from over 5,500 projects, and in the process, benefiting 309,335 beneficiaries. The process of allocating 700,000 hectares of state-owned land for development is currently underway to benefit those who need access to land for productive use. Government has further given a mandate to the Commission on Restitution of Land Rights to fast-track the settlement of old ordered land claims. To support this process, government will prioritize the resolution of administrative hurdles and challenges that are contributing to the slow pace of our land reform process. Among others, these include the need to strengthen capacity and streamline our verification process, which at times takes longer than necessary. Making provision for additional human resource capacity to deal with backlogs, instituting effective processes for resolution of disputes, including conflict among beneficiary communities, dealing decisively with incidents of fraud and corruption whenever they are detected. Notwithstanding progress made in fast-tracking the resolution of outstanding claims, the reality is that the current fiscal constraints are imposing serious limitations on our ability to move with the necessary speed. The IMC on land reform and agriculture will continue to seek solutions and monitor progress on the finalization of outstanding claims in line with the standing directives by the Constitutional Court on new land claims. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The first supplementary question will be asked by the Honorable MGE Hendricks through the virtual platform.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Speaker, it's always refreshing to listen to the responses of the Deputy President. Many communities have benefited from land restitution and getting dividends from mines and rental from shopping centers, sometimes under the leadership of the Deputy President. Residents of District 6 and their offspring have lost out on such benefits for 27 years. Will the remaining 40 hectares given to them by President Mandela to utilize for their benefit and not for the benefit of the City of Cape Town developers? Can the President assure the nation that District 6 will be a heritage site and a memorialization site for the world on the, to remind them of the harm of forced evictions? I also want to understand why the District 6 Development Trust led by Judge Desai has been left out in future consultations. I hope the Deputy President can respond to some of these questions. Thank you very much.
The Honorable, the Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. We must really apologize to the people and the claimants of the District 6. Now, a number of challenges have been experienced. Some of the challenges emanate from the claimants themselves. Firstly, the claimants opted to be developers themselves. And after phase 1 and phase 2, they started quarreling among themselves, and a decision was taken that no, we're no longer going to allow the claimants to develop the houses. An independent contractor was appointed. Now, this contractor did not really go well with the claimants, and as we speak, the number of defects that have been seen in the houses made the claimants to be very unhappy. And there's a stop and go, and currently there's a group that has gone to court forcing the Department of Agriculture, Rural Development and Land Reform to recognize them. Now, the court will decide. But in terms of managing the project going forward, we think we need to pull together all the role players. There are too many, and they agree on a plan, a timeline that will fast-track the completion of this project. We must apologize to the claimants. This has taken too long. And that is why we are going to come closer, working together with all the role players involved to try and deliver this project to the claimants. With regards to the declaration of the area as a heritage, now there are processes that should be followed, that should be applied for us to consider those declarations. I'm sure the respective owners will consider doing those applications to the relevant bodies, especially the Department of Arts and Culture should also be consulted in this regard. Thank you very much.
The second supplementary question will be asked by the Honorable ZMD Mandela through the virtual platform.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Last week, the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development met to discuss District 6 land claims. The report received showed that the majority of land claims have been settled. However, the pending cases are those referred to as the new order land claims, i.e. those lodged in 2014. We know that the Land Claims Commission has been interdicted from processing all the new order claims until all the pre-1998 land claims have been settled. Does the Deputy President believe that the Land Claims Commission is on track to ensure that all pre-1998 claims are settled? Further, that the Land Claims Commission is well capacitated to bring all pre-1998 claims to finality? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable, the Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think the Honorable Member is correct that we have been taken to court to consider claims that have been made after a certain deadline. Well, I can say we're on track in terms of finalizing the old order claims, but we must say upfront that this matter will need a discussion with the President. The President and the Minister of Finance, because it has taken too long to finalize these claims. Why I'm citing the President and citing the Minister of Finance, it's because in the main, we are running short of the necessary financial resources to pursue these claims and to finalize them. Of course, we have empowered the Land Claims Court to quickly process any disputes amongst claimants, which in the past has been a problem. We have also added the desired capacity to do the verification of these claims. So we can rest assured now that the verification process is going to happen at the required speed. But we need the resources to pay the claims. That is what government should sit and discuss. We are going to put it at the door of our President and the Minister of Finance, because it's a matter that will require a political decision. Because we know that some of the people that have made the claims have already died. It's now a matter that must be finalized with immediate effect. Thank you very much.
The third supplementary question will be asked by the Honorable T.M. Mbabama through the virtual platform.
Mbabama, thank you, Madam Speaker. Sekela Mongameli, the Commission on Restitution of Land Rights should, for all intents and purposes, be an autonomous entity by now with its own budget. Why is government dragging its feet in achieving this? As this is one of the factors that impact directly on the delay in resolving the outstanding land claims. Ndiyabulela.
The Honorable, the Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And thanks, Honorable Member. I don't think that will make any difference because whether you are an independent body there or whether you are within a department, the money that is allocated to you will depend on the competing priorities that faces a country. In our case, for instance, we've got a number of competing priorities. You will understand that we want all of us to get our learners to attend tertiary education, and we want to make it free. And we're battling every year in, year out, to try and satisfy that priority. That is just one priority, but there are many. So it's not a question of really creating more and more structures. Probably that can also be too costly, but it's the question of the availability of resources, which always will outstrip, the resources that we have. The needs that we have will always outstrip the resources that are available. So with this, that is why I'm saying we're going to put it on the agenda of government so that gradually, a bit faster, we try and augment the current budget so that we move a bit faster to settle these claims. People have been waiting for too long. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
I thank you, Deputy President. The last supplementary question will be asked by the Honourable H.O. Mkalipi through the virtual platform.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Speaker. Deputy President, by the end of 1998 cut-off dates for lodging restitution claims, over 79,000 land claims were lodged to the Commission for Restitution of Land Rights by people who had been forcibly removed from their land by the apartheid regime. In 2014, the government reopened the land claims process until it was stopped by the Constitutional Court, which ruled that the 1998 claims must all be settled first. To date, your government still has not settled the 1998 land claims, meaning that the 2014 land claims cannot be touched. How much has this issue of compensating current land owners of the land delayed the finalization of land restitution claims? How does your government plan to deal with this problem since the ruling party rejected our proposals for land expropriation of land without compensation? Thank you very much, Speaker.
Deputy President, there's a change of guard behind you.
Yeah, I can hear, Honourable Deputy Speaker.
Please go ahead, sir. Yes.
Thank you very much. Well, I don't think we should go back to that process that has just happened. It's water under the bridge. We must focus on what is available going forward. Well, there are many options available to government to pursue land reform. But at the center of these various models and alternatives, of course, it's the availability of resources. Because we must increase the people that do verification. In one claim alone, you'll find you've got 50 or 60 claimants that you must verify to say, no, you are not the rightful claimant. This is the rightful claimant, and you must provide evidence. And beyond that, one of the 60, 50 claimants can take you to the land claims court, a process that can also take its time. Now, there are many processes that takes time in the process of validating a claim. We are trying by all means to try and put new mechanisms that would allow us to move faster. I think on that score, we've done very well as the Land Claims Commission to try and remove all stops. The remaining challenge is the availability of resources to settle those claims. Of course, you'll be aware that the expropriation bill is currently on its way to Parliament. That is one option that will be available for government to utilize to fast-track land reform. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy President. The next question has been asked by Honorable M.M. Tape. Honorable the Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. The National Development Plan sets out a broad vision of eliminating poverty and reducing inequality by 2030. It also identifies agriculture as a critical sector in economic development, which can contribute significantly to reducing unemployment and improving household food security. The Department of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development continues to provide support to beneficiaries who were allocated state farms as determined through the beneficiary selection policy. As part of our integrated farmer support program, government has prioritized a provision of package of post-settlement support that includes training as well as financial and technical support to ensure that all allocated land is productively utilized. During the period 2019-2020 to 2021 to 2022 financial year, the Department of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development has provided 191 proactive land acquisition farms across the 9 provinces. The major focus of support is on farm agricultural infrastructure, production inputs, mechanization, as well as training and mentorship to ensure that the allocated farms are productively utilized. Business and entrepreneurship training is also provided on an ongoing basis. The skills audit was conducted in 275 farms allocated in the Northwest, Mpumalanga, Limpopo, KZN, Free State, and Gauteng provinces to determine skills gaps and design appropriate training interventions. 106 beneficiaries from 66 farms have since been trained adequately. Alongside this intervention, the COVID-19 Agricultural Disaster Fund, to the tune of 102 billion rand, was established by the Minister of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development in 2020 to ensure sustainable food production post the pandemic. Whilst the current response package to support farmers do not specifically include the provision of renewable energy, the agricultural sector is not excluded in the recent intervention, which allows for the generation of electricity by the private sector or a municipality of up to 100 megawatts without requiring a generation license. However, the reliability of electricity supply to small and emerging farmers should be explored when farm assessments are conducted so that alternative and workable technologies for farm support are identified and tested. As government will continue to explore a wide variety of green energy solutions for the agricultural sector and further engage ESCOM to work with emerging farmers to diversify their power generation opportunities to include solar and wind energy. We accept that smallholder agricultural growth will not be achieved without access to support services, including addressing the challenges caused by the instability in electricity supply. Increasing agricultural productivity requires us to address all accompanying challenges in a collaborative manner, thereby creating long-term food security, job opportunities, and sustainable income. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy President. Honorable Klape.
Thanks, Honorable Deputy Speaker. The response by Deputy President indicates numerous government support programs targeted at subsistence, smallholder and emerging farmers, which we believe are very crucial in fighting household poverty and household food insecurity. We really appreciate these interventions. Now, Honorable Deputy President, the Department of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development has been allocated 1 billion presidential stimulus package. What was the intention of this package, and how will it also alleviate other pressures within the agricultural sector? I thank you.
Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. The amount of 1 billion, like I said, was allocated to small-scale farmers whose productions have been disrupted by the COVID-19 pandemic. We've counted the small-scale farmers that benefited from this 1.2 billion to be 75,000. Through this same program, subsistence producers were supported with input vouchers to retain self-employment in the sector while supporting food value chain. Further intervention under the second phase of the presidential stimulus are targeting 50,000 subsistence producers. Out of these 50,000, we are targeting 50% women, 40% youth, and 10% people with disabilities, also to benefit from this amount of money. Now, part of the money was utilized to do an assessment per province of 654 farms ready to be allocated to small-scale farmers. Now, that assignment has been concluded, we now know how much support must be given to each farm and to each beneficiary in each and every, in each of the 9 provinces in the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy President. The second supplementary question is asked by Honorable Stay.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Deputy President, it's not the first time that we are meeting regarding this land reform issue. I've just been to Solms Delta Farm. That is a wine farm here in the Western Cape area. The farm has been allocated to farm workers in a joint venture program with government. These workers have not been paid for 4 months. The electricity has been cut. Deputy President, it sounds like your program is a box-ticking exercise. Can you tell me how and when will the Interministerial Committee make their minutes available so that we can see what real empowerment will come to the beneficiaries of land reform? Thank you, Deputy.
Deputy President.
Well, thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Honorable Member, you are mentioning a specific farm where farming has been disrupted and workers are no longer working, electricity has been cut. I'd like to get details of that farm so that we respond appropriately. Is it possible to get the details of the farm? Because this support package was meant to support every farmer that is under duress, under troubled by the COVID-19. So probably if we sit and discuss with the farm owners, we can establish whether they deserve support from government. Yes, I'm partnering with the farm. Now, we'll be able to establish exactly whether they've partnered with the provincial government or the national government. Oh, good. You seem to be knowing this problem, all of you. So you must give me, you must give me the information so that I can help in this regard. Thank you very much. Okay.
The third supplementary is asked by Honorable Singh.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker, and thank you, Deputy President, for the responses. Now, Deputy President, we've been talking about COVID-19 and the devastating impact it's had on all sectors of society, more especially on the agricultural sector. And you've spoken about the package, the billions of rand package to assist those farmers that were impacted by COVID. Now, but there's also another problem that farmers are facing currently, Honorable Deputy President, and that is ever-increasing fuel costs. Ballooning thanks to fuel levies, including the general fuel levy and the road accident fund levy. These burdens will directly impact employment and start-up farmers. My question, Honorable Deputy President, is how will government ensure growth in accordance with the NDP, given these constraints, and what will government do to ameliorate these rising input costs, especially of fuel? Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Deputy President.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker. Well, without interfering with those who are regulating the prices of our fuel, but as government, we've got the responsibility to support some sectors of our economy. You'll understand that with regards to agriculture, generally, as government, all our programs are a grant. In provinces, the money that we allocate to provinces, it's a grant that must be given to farmers. Nationally, we give farmers a grant, but we also allow a facility for them to borrow money in addition to the grant that we give. Now, there won't be farmers that can succeed without the support of government. As we speak, the money that we're talking about, we have given it to farmers. And we have gone around. Yes, there might be farmers that are left behind, and this program will continue. There are farmers that were hit by droughts. I visited those farms, and after our visit, we have supported those farmers. We have even made land available for them to plant their lucerne, and we've assisted them to plant. So I'm saying farmers won't survive without the support of government. As much as there's a high fuel cost, this side we are subsidizing farmers to produce. Otherwise, they won't be able to produce. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honorable Breed, it's your turn.
Dankie, agbare adjunct speaker. Deputy President, one of the biggest challenges facing beneficiaries of land reform is that they, in many instances, do not hold title deeds to the land. This makes it impossible for them to secure financing as they can't provide land as security. Will the IMC consider transferring title deeds as part of actual agricultural development? I thank you.
Thank you, Deputy President.
Well, there are farmers that are currently occupying land, and we've assessed those land parcels where farmers are entitled. They've been renting that piece of land for years. Some were not even paying for those pieces of land where they are farming. It is our wish as government to formalize our relationship with those farmers. Firstly, we allow these farmers to lease, give them a period that is reasonable for them to improve the farm. They can go borrow money. For instance, you give a farmer 50 years on the land, but they lease the farm with an option to buy it. Now, in certain instances, if we realize that the farmer is unable to buy the land, we release this land to the farmer. There are farmers that agreed to buy certain pieces of land from government at a certain agreed price. And we've allowed those farmers to buy those pieces of land. Our intention is to ensure that farmers are secured. Their investment is secured. They can go out there and borrow money because they've got security in the land that they are producing. So we want to ensure that those who are dispossessed of land, they get their land back. Those who want to farm, they get land to farm and assisted by government through a lease or through direct transfer of the land to these farmers. There are many options available in our land reform program. Like I've said in the beginning when I answered, our distribution program far outsmart our restitution program. That means land that we have bought as government deliberately and redistributed to farmers, people who want to farm. That is almost accounting to 5 million hectares. that was delivered through redistribution. 3.8 hectares was delivered through restitution. And I don't count the number of hectares that was distributed for the sake of human settlement and for the sake of industrialization. All our industrial parks, the land where these industrial parks are developed has been released by government for those parks. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The last question has been asked by Honorable A.M. Seabi. Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. During the sitting of the Southern African Development Community, that is SADC, Extraordinary Organ, Troika Summit of Heads of State and Government, which was held in Harare, Zimbabwe, on the 19th of May, 2020. The government of Mozambique requested assistance and support from the SADC member states to fight the insurgents in the northern Mozambique. Of course, the insurgency in neighboring Mozambique continues to pose a threat to stability and security of our region, and measures to contain and prevent any potential social, economic, and humanitarian crisis is paramount. It is against this backdrop that our government took a decision to support Mozambique to contain and subdue these insurgents and further provide capacity in terms of training, military intelligence, reconnaissance, and equipment. As a member of SADC, our government continues to play a key role towards realization of peace and stability in the region. In this regard, South Africa was amongst the SADC member states who pledged support on military personnel and equipment for the SADC mission that was deployed to Mozambique on the 15th of July, 2021. The mandate of this SADC mission in Mozambique is to assist our neighbor to combat the acts of violent extremism by neutralizing the threat such extremism poses in Mozambique and in the region. The end results being to restore peace and security and create a conducive environment for investment that will drive economic growth of Mozambique. Honorable Deputy Speaker, South Africa assumed the chairship of the SADC organ on politics, defense, and security cooperation in August 2021 and have prioritized the promotion and coordination of peace and security in the region for the duration of our term. Given the nature and intensity of this insurgency, we cannot ignore the possibility of it spilling to the neighboring states, especially those states that are bordering Mozambique. Therefore, active engagement and provision of support to Mozambique is necessary to prevent destabilization, displacement of people, and a humanitarian crisis. Our view is that security risk and possible economic challenges for SADC countries due to forced migration far outweigh the fear of reprisals from these insurgents. Therefore, our involvement in the stabilization effort in Cabo Delgado is in the country's national interest. As SADC member states, we need adequately early warning systems that is enhanced through strengthening of regional cooperation and sharing of information and intelligence to prevent future insurgencies. Honorable Deputy Speaker, we remain committed to a conflict-free Mozambique that will ensure peace, security, and stability in the region. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy President. And that is your chance in that.
Deputy Speaker. Thanks very much, Honorable Deputy President, for the answer. Like you said, Honorable Deputy President, the South African government is committed to play a pivotal role in building a better Africa, contributing to a better world. In line with this commitment, the South African government continues to play a role in peacemaking efforts through peaceful interventions in an endeavor to bring stability in the region and promotion of democracy. Therefore, Deputy President, in your view, what possible intervention mechanisms can further be explored by SADC to strengthen regional intervention in conflict resolutions as an effort to bring everlasting stability in the region? I thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. SADC has at its own disposal a number of instruments that it can use to facilitate interventions which are guided by the SADC Treaty of 1992. The SADC Protocol on Politics, Defense and Security of 2001, which we are currently chairing, and the SADC Community Agenda as amended in 2009 to facilitate dialogue amongst warring parties and ensure economic people-to-people integration is realized in the region. The few instruments that I've mentioned are available to SADC and its member states, of which, in this case, as a country, we are using the Protocol on Politics, Defense and Security, which we're chairing. And in this case, we've agreed that we are going to share intelligence information. We are going to deploy military personnel, boots on the ground. People should be there physically to fight. In our case, we have deployed more than 1,400 soldiers, which the President has agreed to deploy. So we feel at this particular point in time, this intervention is enough. Of course, we are putting our ears on the ground so that whatever changes that might occur in the situation in Cabo Delgado, we are ready to give additional support to our neighbors. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honorable Beckman, it's your turn, sir, to ask the second supplementary question.
Thank you very much. Deputy President, given the state of Mozambique currently, and given that 2 MPs sit in prison in Eswatini with another MP on the run for fear of his life, whilst the government in the DRC and the old regime holding military power in the east are in a dangerous tug of war. And lastly, given our own high rates of murder and violent crimes, I would put it to you that terrorists don't actually need to come to the SADC countries at this stage, as it seems we're doing a good enough job for them. But what I would ask you, sir, is whether our friendship with Russia, Iran, Qatar, and China will actually benefit us in neutralizing any threats if they were to actually activate within South Africa? Thank you.
Deputy President.
Thank you very much. We have not explored that. Remember, we are a continent ourselves. We have got our own structures in the continent. Before we can think of other people to help us, we must help ourselves. So the continent is ready-made to deal with its own conflict. Yes, we have got challenges in Ethiopia. You can count DRC there and there, but we must leave it to the AU to deal with its own problem. And I'm proud to say, as South Africa, we have chaired the AU. Our president did very well at the time of the COVID-19. We have set up structures in the continent that are currently dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, and they are effective. So I believe in the AU. We must believe in ourselves, and we must improve our capacity on a day-to-day basis. We cannot always cry and help, and think other people can help us. We must, on a day-to-day, develop our own capacities in our different countries. And I'm happy that I'm seeing more and more integration. I'm more and more seeing leaders in the continent coming together. And I'm very happy about the current step that has been taken by the president to visit these 4 nations, which is an indication that as a country, we are willing to work together with our African countries, foster this relationship, and build our capacities together. The message that I've heard from the president is that Africa must develop its own pharmaceutical capacity, develop its own vaccines. And it's a project that I think will materialize in our lifetime. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy President. Honorable Mashabela, it's your turn to ask the 3rd supplementary question.
Deputy Speaker, I will be taking it on the Honorable Mashabela's.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Deputy President, the unrest in Mozambique and in Swaziland threaten the stability of the region. The clownish conduct of the regime in Zimbabwe also does not help in strengthening the governance in the region. The general perception is that the region and the continent as a whole is rudderless because of lack of visionary Pan-Africanist leadership. In light of these problems faced by the region and the continent, why have South Africa retreated from providing leadership in resolving the problems of the continent? If you claim you have not retreated, why have you allowed the people of Swaziland to suffer under King Moswati? I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. We have not retreated. And of course, you will understand that South Africa is part of these multilateral organizations, and we respect those because we believe in their effectiveness. Now, our contribution in the continent is to work together with these African states, not to impose our wisdom on them, but to work together to resolve our problems. And I think we're succeeding. Most of the problems that we see in the continent are caused by tribalism, which is something that we must defeat. At times I see also in the country some elements of tribalism starting to rear their ugly heads. We have long defeated tribalism, and we are a symbol of inspiration in the continent in how best we can deal with tribalism. Racism, we are still found wanting, and I think working together as a country, we can still remain a good, shining example for the continent. But the message that I want to convey is that for the AU to succeed, we must respect all the structures that the AU has put in place, because if we don't respect them, no one will respect them. Otherwise, we better call it a day as the continent. This is a continent that must succeed. And we must help this continent to succeed, because finally, we are the beneficiaries ourselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy President. Honorable Hlengwa Mkhuleko.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker, Honorable Deputy President, the festival of the deputies. Honorable Deputy President, you refer to the AU. Agenda 2063 speaks about silencing the guns. 2020 was the theme of silencing the guns. Instead of us making progress, we are not actually moving in that direction. It says to us that we can be confident that these things will be achieved. We're speaking about porous borders and heightened risk to South Africa because of the prevailing conflicts in the region and on the continent. Now, broader to home then, Mr. Deputy President, over the MTEF, there's a 14% reduction in the defense budget. And in 2022-23, the SANDF will save about 1.1 billion rands on personnel costs. Now, with regional deployments of the SANDF in the SADC region forming part of the country's peacekeeping mission, how will these cuts and budgetary constraints affect South Africa's participation in maintaining peace and stability in the region and also securing South Africa's own safety? I thank you.
Thank you, Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Yes, I can agree with the assertion that the budget of our security institutions has reduced, quite correctly, because we're faced with a situation. We're faced with a pandemic, and you will agree with me that we diverted a lot of money to try and deal with this pandemic. And in the process, our economy was disrupted. The amount of revenue that we used to collect yesterday, we're not collecting it today. So definitely, we need to cut our coat according to our size. Our children must continue to go to school. We must continue to get water. We must continue to do all the necessary services to our people, but still honor our obligation in the region and in the continent. We've tried very hard. Our president, as chair of the AU, tried very hard to give the necessary support to the structures of the AU. And looking back, it was quite a success. Currently, we are speaking about Mozambique. We have deployed personnel there. We have deployed equipments, our equipments. And it's not only us that must deploy those personnel and equipments, but we've got other sister countries like Botswana, Mozambique, Angola, you can count. And up to so far, the mission is going well in Mozambique. That is why you can hear that there's stability that is coming back, peace is coming back. Our soldiers are able to win that battle. So yes, there are a lot of gaps that are there financially. We are not winning the war of silencing the gun in the continent. At times when we take 2 steps forward, we come back 3 steps back. Remember, we reported to you that we succeeded to get South Sudan to proceed and form a government. Today, South Sudan has got a government. But as we look at South Sudan, Sudan starts. Uganda starts. Ethiopia starts. When I was dealing with the South Sudan matter, we used to convene in Ethiopia. And Ethiopia was fine, everything was good. But just after that, the war erupted. And I'm sure the AU is dealing with that matter. All the matters that we have cited, the AU is dealing with those matters. Remember, as a country, we make our own contribution financially into the structures of the AU. And we do that without failure. We've got our own commitments in the country here, but what is due to the continent, we pay without failure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy President. That concludes questions to the Deputy President, and thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Honorable members, that concludes the plenary session for the day, and the House is adjourned. Thank you.
Long live the Speaker, long live.